Being at a crossroads in your life is an interesting place to be. On one hand, there's all this potential and optimism and hope for the future. And on another hand, there's so much fear, worry, and doubt. This is the place I find myself. I had a birthday earlier this month, and I turned 46 years old. And it occurred to me, now that I'm 46, I am closer to 60 than I am to 30. And that thought created a stark realization. Thus, the crossroads. I have been feeling really burnt out in the work that I have been doing lately. And this has been work that I have done for 15 years. It's work that I love, and at one point, it felt like it gave me meaning and purpose, and I felt like I was really helping people in a way that sustained me. But lately, something has shifted, and I am just no longer able to hold the capacity of working on the crisis line and being in relation to other people in a therapy or mental health professional type role. And so I've been sitting with it, and on my channel, I've been talking a little bit about burnout and high functioning women and high achieving women because that's who I am. And last week I decided not to post, and I have been posting consistently for some time. So that was a big decision for me. And as I made that decision, I was noticing and being aware of myself all week long to kind of see how that was going to land in my body. And it did feel like a relief at first, but I will say as the week went on, there was, some parts of me that, wanted to just jump on and create something, not worry about it being so scripted or trying to show up more in my authenticity, which I have done previously on this channel with the alignment series that I did. So I've kind of vacillated all over because I just can't seem to find my lane here on YouTube. My original intention with getting on and starting this channel was really to share information about nervous system regulation and transformation. I have had my own iterations of transformation journeys, and a lot of that has to do with childhood trauma that I healed and the different ways that I was able to kind of work with that and move through that I thought were helpful for people, because in my day-to-day life, work with people in crisis, in emotional dysregulation, people who are struggling with emotional reactivity and self-sabotaging behaviors, I guess we'd say. And so I really just wanted to share that information. And at that time, when I had started the channel, I was starting a transformation journey of my own. So I was going to share insights, and I did along the way. But somewhere along there, things got a little muddy, and I just kind of didn't know which way to go. And ultimately, as I have sat with it this week, the real intention and why for me is the fact that so many people that I speak to do not understand their nervous system, how it functions, and what role it plays in their emotional reactivity and their regulation, and how triggers and unprocessed childhood wounds and all of those things play into why we are the way we are, and sometimes why we act the way we act. So, that is something that I am so passionate about talking about, because honestly, I have, in my own experience and working with so many others, determined that it is a skill set. It's a skill set that anyone can learn. Emotional intelligence, nervous system regulation, identity work, subconscious reprogramming. Those are all things, practices or skill sets people can learn and practice. Our mind is malleable. We know that with neuroplasticity. And our nervous systems they're very responsive. They're flexible. They're not broken. We're not broken when we're dysregulated all the time. That's feedback. And we can learn the skill sets to help create a felt sense of safety in our body, even if we've been through significant trauma. And so that is what I am passionate about sharing. That is what I want to share on this channel, ultimately, is How do we really get to know ourselves on that very deep and intimate level? How do we create a secure relationship with ourselves? And how do we begin doing the work of the reparenting, the inner child healing, the subconscious reprogramming, the nervous system regulation? How do we do all of those things and not feel overwhelmed or feel like it's just too much and, activate our nervous system on a different level? Because I think the other thing that I personally have experienced, and this is in a moment I'm in right now, is that significant discomfort when you're going to step outside of your comfort zone and grow. I've done so much growing with this channel and over the last year and a half here, and I still feel like I'm not exactly where I want to be. And I know that's because I have just unraveled a lot of my limiting beliefs, and like being visible and being seen and sharing a message and putting yourself out there. And so those layers are the layers that have been coming up for me recently because I've been putting myself out there online, and I was never somebody who had ever done that before. So that's kind of the shadow work I've been working on. But now I find myself at a crossroads. I know I can no longer remain working in the capacity that I am working with people. But I also have started looking around to see what else is it that I want to do? Or what would I like to share? And I just really haven't been able to find anything because everything in my lane as a clinical social worker, as a clinical hypnotherapist, as somebody who has a lot of experience in crisis intervention and de-escalation, it's all in that same vein of being there for people in their most vulnerable and volatile moments. And that is what I can no longer carry. That's the capacity issue I am at, where I guess it's not that I can't do it. And if I wanted to increase my capacity there, I know I could. I mean, I'm in a little bit of burnout, so I'd have to really pull back. But I think I've outgrown that season of my life. Now I want to be able to take all of my experiences and knowledge and years and thousands of people that I have worked with and share that information in a new way that helps people so that they don't have to get to a place of crisis. Plus, I have spoken to so many kids. And what the pattern that I am noticing is that because kids aren't taught emotional resilience and learning how to be with their emotions and identify their emotions and, how to create a strong sense of self and self-concept and working with distress tolerance and nervous system regulation. But it's important. It's important to teach these skills. Anytime I talk to any kind of a teenager, I'm always really advocating for them, what a gift to be able to go get these tools, learn these skill sets, and begin practicing them and, hopefully, mastering them. We don't ever get there, but, the more we practice, the better we get. And to be able to take that into adulthood, because so many adults I speak to on the crisis line, they never learned. And here they are years later of just all of this crisis and reactivity and poor choices and a lot of it's trauma and those kinds of things. But being able to be out in front of that, what a gift. So that is the message. That's the message I want to share. And so now it's just about figuring out how I package that and convey that in a way that's useful to you and that is still honoring and in alignment with how I wish to serve. I just want to say that it can feel very daunting because it feels like we have to figure it all out. But I am determined, because this is the other piece of why I have hit a burnout place. I have always been the giver. I've overgiven some of the wounding that I have. And so I've never really been able to prioritize self. And all of these years of just taking care of others and giving it away and showing up and being that container for everyone else, I have neglected my own needs. I have gotten a lot better about it. And since I've done healing work, I still do make time to, meditate and do certain things for myself. But as far as actually investing in my health and in my well-being and, in longevity, no, I have not. it's kind of in that crisis mentality of just move, one fire to the next, and whatever got me there. I had shared earlier, and when I was talking about my alignment challenge, I often relied a lot on caffeine. I would stay up late at night to get it all done because I am an overachiever, and if there is a task to be done, I'll get it done. But that's usually at the expense of myself, always. And so I am really trying to focus more now, instead of giving, on receiving, and be able to really be more in a receptive mode. I'm slowing everything down. I'm really trying to distance myself from the urgency and restlessness that is the baseline on the crisis line, or in that work. It is always urgent, and it creates that sense of restlessness. And so I'm really trying to slow things down, be more intentional, and really focus on that more feminine energy. And that it's been an interesting experiment. I'm always so much in my masculine energy because I am a doer. Definitely a doer, but I'm also a beer. And I think that's the thing that I haven't been really basking in my being. I tend to be a really buoyant and lighthearted person most of the time. I love to laugh. I love to have fun. I do feel like I have a childlike essence of heart, and it's like all that kind of gets drowned out a little bit because of the day-to-day existence. And I'm just so ready to switch lanes. It's very exciting. I'm very excited about it. I just don't know which direction I'm going. And so instead of let that be a problem, I'm just letting it be what it is, which is just like, okay, so we're just going to have to trust that things will come together, and that the more I invest in myself and the more I replenish myself. And the other thing too is I don't really feel like going out and finding another avenue right now while I'm in burnout is the best plan. I wouldn't advise anybody else doing that either. So I'm really resourcing right now. I'm pulling back. I'm consolidating. I am going back to simple and sustainable. I am really focusing on basics, and I'm making sure that I am taking the best care of myself. And I am just waiting until intuitively I feel called or directed to something that makes sense. In the meantime, as a creative outlet, YouTube is that creative outlet for me. I've gone up and down about it, and sometimes it feels like it's a creativity stealer when I get in the lane of analytics, or what I should be talking about, or how I should do my videos, or having an intro, and being tight in my spacing and editing. That weighs me down. That weighs me down. I've learned a lot of those skills, and I'm so grateful for that. But that's not what I want to be using my precious time for. I really feel more called to use that time to actually put back into myself in this season. Not that it won't ever change, but in this season, that's what's happening. So here we are in this beautiful season. I am totally restructuring my life. I'm 46. It is time, baby. Clock is ticking. I mean, I intend to live a long and lavish life. I've got great genetics, so I have every intention of being one of those that make it all the way. But I want to enjoy my life. I want to love what I do, feel inspired, creative. I want to feel like I'm speaking from my heart. I'm opening my heart. I'm listening to my calling. I want to feel like this second half is about me and about following my dreams, pursuing my passions, and being of service in a different way. So it is an exciting place to be, and onward we go.